As he climbed the tree, he felt the flickering polarities of many archetypes, and as he reached the highest point in his ascent, something that he called the vortex opened ahead of him, a swirling, enormous doorway into time. He could see the cyclopean megaliths of Stonehenge, and beyond them, revolving at a different speed and at a higher plane, the outlines of the pyramids, gleaming and marble-faceted as they have not been since the days of pharaonic Egypt. And yet further into the turbulent maw of the vortex, he saw mysteries that were ancient long before the advent of man.
Ralph Ellis believes that the biblical story of Eden is connected to the reign of the Hyksos pharaoh Akhenaten. Notice, please, the snake at Adam's third eye chakra. Like Ellis, Sigmund Freud and Michael Tessarian have all connected the reign of Akhenaten to the story of Moses and the exodus of the Israelites. I believe it is very likely that Akhenaten or his chief priests were taking magic mushrooms and opening stargates through cosmic illumination, these being the events described in Genesis and in Exodus. Freemasons and authors Christopher Knight and Robert Lomas describe in their book The Hierarchy how they believe that an integral part of the ascension rites or rituals of the pharaohs of Egypt involved a narcotic substance. Cosmic citizen Robert Anton Wilson points out in the introduction to Sex and Rockets, The Occult World of Jack Parsons, that this drug that the pharaohs of Egypt were using in their rituals was most likely not a narcotic but the psychedelic magic mushroom. We now have the necessary knowledge and context to understand the biblical events described when Moses put a brazen serpent on a staff, and the incident where Moses or Aaron, in reality Akhenaten, or his chief priests placed a magic serpent staff, pillar, or mushroom in front of Pharaoh. To help solidify this connection between the magic mushroom and the serpent, I bring your attention to Vishnu, the blue god who represents the magic mushroom. We notice the snakes around his head and the water in which he stands, water obviously being connected to the water door or stargate. Another scene from the animated Prince of Egypt film synchromystically gives away the game as we see the burning bush inside the ripples of a water door symbol, the circular bullseye motif or target of the stargate. When we look at Charlton Heston's The Ten Commandments esoterically or with an occult viewpoint, we can see the imagery of the burning bush in a new light, realizing that Exodus and Genesis tell us the same story about Akhenaten. This bush becomes interchangeable with the tree of the Garden of Eden. This is also then the magic mushroom, and the light and halo emanating from behind it is the symbol of the stargate, cosmic illumination. God is even shown coming from within the stargate, the swirling vortex. As Ralph Ellis points out, this incident with Akhenaten or one of his chief viziers isn't happening on top of a mountain. It is happening on top of the Great Pyramid, or perhaps inside the Great Pyramid. In one of the instances recounted in the Bible where Akhenaten goes up or inside of the Great Pyramid, the good book reads, "And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet as it were a pavement of sapphire stone like the very heaven for clearness." Considering the type of sapphire being described is compared to the heaven and its clearness, it is safe to assume that it is a blue sapphire. It further reads, "They saw God, they ate and drank." Does anybody not know where I am going with this? It seems reasonable to me that within the framework of the belief system that has been presented thus far, the God of Moses and Akhenaten was the God perceived after the ingestion of hallucinogenic magic mushrooms, the God that one of the earliest chief architects perceived at the other side of a stargate. Of course, if your God is accessed through a magic mushroom, he is portable, and if you are kicked out of Egypt, you can take him with you. A mushroom, however, will not keep inside a golden stuffy box in the long arduous journey through the desert. It will need to be preserved in some kind of suitable substance. Luckily, such a substance is already available in ancient Egypt and used in the mummification process. Bee farming was widely practiced in ancient Egypt, and honey was readily available. Jars like this one from 1980 BCE have been found inside the tombs of Egyptian pharaohs. This one is even tantalizingly mushroom-shaped. Some of the honey found in these jars is reportedly even in relatively good states of preservation. The ideological descendants of Akhenaten still venerate the bee in their symbolism. Are the secret keys to the Stargate, the magic mushroom, still held and used in the highest levels of the secret societies? Or have the kings and queens of our beehive forgotten the path to illumination? This is a traditional Jewish charm called a Khamsa. The eye of the five-fingered hand of God is usually represented by a blue stone, just like the magic mushroom. The distinctly mushroom-shaped Khamsa is also often colored red, like the Amanita muscaria magic mushroom. If Akhenaten took the magic mushroom out of the Great Pyramid and put it into the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark, which ended up in Solomon's Temple and the holiest of holies, would contain the magic mushroom. Are symbols like these hints as to the origin of our religions? Has this information been suppressed and or forgotten? Direct your attention, please, to the three-pronged stem of the mushroom representation and the Stargate symbol inside the red cap of the Khamsa. Again, the first-degree tracing board with its three pillars and ladder leading up to the Stargate. My best guess to date of the symbolism of the three pillars' origins would be ancient veneration and observation of Orion's belt being personified as Osiris, the three-in-one, then incorporated into the Great Pyramids of Giza, and spectacularly evoked by the 9/11 Stargate mega ritual. We see the Stargate symbolism in the layout of the World Trade Center Plaza. The concentric circle bullseye target Stargate symbol leads up to a fountain in the center. An open Stargate can have a mercurial quality, sometimes being called a water door. The sculpture inside the fountain was called the spherical caryatid and was intended to invoke the Kaaba in Mecca. A caryatid is a pillar that is shaped like a female goddess figure, the male version of which is usually portrayed as Atlas. The spherical caryatid is therefore most likely a representation of Atlas. In part 1, I showed how Atlas and Atlantis connects to the magic mushroom. It is thus fascinating to dwell on the idea that we have a mushroom symbol inside a Stargate symbol at the World Trade Center complex. I find synchromystic verification of the themes discussed in this video in that mystic Darren Aronofsky's beautiful film The Fountain. To begin with, the name is reminiscent of the fountain at the World Trade Center complex and the water door Stargate symbol. The film itself is replete with Stargate symbolism. Hugh Jackman is sent to find Eden after our Adam or Akhenaten climbs a South American pyramid with Orion in the heavens above. Inside the pyramid he finds the tree of life of which he eats, and then attains cosmic illumination. I find this scenario resonating perfectly with my idealized and whimsical theory being put forward about Akhenaten ascending the Great Pyramid, ingesting the magic mushroom, traveling through the Stargate and communicating with the god inside. On descending, Akhenaten would create the monotheistic solar phallic death cult religion, followed on Earth to this very day.